So we're going to start right away in Shavasana on the back body. Unless you want to start in seated meditation, feel free to start in a seat. And then just get your body into a really comfortable shape so that you can settle into that support below. And as you settle in, allow your eyes to close. And with this focus point of grounding, finding steadiness amongst transition, you begin to deepen your breath down into the earth. And so if you're lying on the ground, feel your breath reach into your entire back body. And with every exhale, feel yourself arrive a little bit more completely into this moment right here and right now. Into your practice, the embrace of your body, support of this virtual community. If you're in a seat, breathe down into your sits bones and feel that downward breath energy also create this like reverb up your spine so you sit a little bit taller. With every exhale, again, sink you into the moment. And as you deepen your breath, right, let every inhale become a little bit wider and more expansive. And let every exhale lengthen out and empty all the way to the bottom. All the way to empty. And as you deepen your breath, feel every inhale as the creation of new space. And every exhale is the release of setting aside of anything that you don't need to hold on to for any longer. It's the clearing away of that which no longer serves you. It's the surrender of whatever might hold you back. And through this process of making space and setting aside, we clear away space in our hearts and our minds and also in our physical bodies to feel more free, to have greater energy for calling forward what it is that we truly desire to hold in our lives. Bring into our days. And so in honor of making space, in honor of finding grounding through the transitions, let's take a deep breath in through the nose all together. And when you're ready, open mouth, exhale, clear the breath away. We'll take 2 more like that, so a really deep breath through your nose. And clearing, exhale all the way to empty. And just one more, breathe in. And exhale to empty. And start to let your breath flow through your nose, your Ujjayi pranayama. And then when you're ready, go ahead and make your way into a full body stretch on your back body. Reach your hands up and overhead. Feel all of extension from your fingers to your feet. Maybe take a couple circles to your ankles and your wrists. And then keep your left leg long and use your core to pull your right knee into your body. So without using your hands, pull your right knee in like when you're moving pose. Your left knee can bend so that your low back can anchor to the earth. Pull your navel to your spine. Take an inhale. Then exhale to your supine twist. And now as you find the twist, if you'd like to facilitate it, you can go ahead and use your left hand. Maybe take your gaze over to the right. And then find 2 cycles of breath. And after your second round of breath, we're going to come back to center. Keep your right knee bent and place your right foot to the earth. So you can square your hips up. Then use the strength of your belly to lift your left leg up to the sky. And reach behind your left leg, maybe some softness moves into your left knee. And bring that leg towards your body. Make it super heavy for your left sitting bone. So where your thigh bone and your hip meet the earth, and then reach up high for your left heel. And then stay anchored to your left hip, but tip your left foot just slightly over to the right. So just a little bit across the midline. Find a little bit of external rotation, so the left hip crease pulls away, left toes turn slightly to the left. Take one more breath in. And on your exhale, bring your left leg back to neutral. Go ahead and bend your left knee. Release your hands out to the side like a capital T. Lengthen your right leg forward. So it doesn't have to be completely straight. Again, you can have that softness to your right knee. Begin to use your core to pull your left thigh into your body to anchor your low back to the earth. Good. One more inhale here. When you're moving pose with no hands. Then exhale to your supine twist. Maybe you facilitate the twist now with your right hand. Left shoulder heavy, maybe gaze to the left. And then find your 2 cycles of breath. When we come back to center, just like we did before, we're going to bridge our left foot to the earth. Find square through your hips. When you use the strength of your core, just slowly lift your right leg up to the sky. Reach behind your right leg. Start with your hamstring stretch. Try to keep the length of your right side body as you reach high through your right heel. And keeping the heaviness through your right hip. You're going to start to tip your right leg over to the left. Just a little bit. Shouldn't take much, especially early in the morning. And then feel your right hip crease pull away from your heart. So you get that extra length through your right side. Continue to reach through your heel as you take one more breath in. On your out breath, go ahead and bring your right leg back to neutral. We're going to bend both of our knees to 90 degrees. So we're in an upside down tabletop. And pull your navel to your spine and just make sure your knees are right above your hip points and not trying to sneak closer to your body. A gentle flex to your feet. Reach your hands up towards the ceiling. And then take just your left hand behind your head and lengthen your left leg up to the sky. And so right knee is at 90. Left leg is long, right hand is tall, and left hand is behind your skull. Now start to inhale, lower your left leg to a hover, reach your right hand up and overhead. Pull your navel to your spine. On your exhale, use the full length of your exhale to slowly lift your left leg to the ceiling. Slowly lift your head and shoulders, and then reach your right fingertips up to your left toes. Good. See how slow you can go as you inhale to lower, so the core works in both directions. And then use their slow exhale to lift. Left leg lifts. Lead with your sternum and reach your right fingertips across. And inhale to lower and open. And the key is to move from your core strength, isolated strength from your belly. And exhale, lift. And reach up and across. Good, last 2, breathe in to open slow. Your left hand is there to support your head so your neck can turn off. But your core still has to work to lift that whole unit up, right? Exhale to lift. We've got one more for this side. Inhale, lower, open. On your exhale, lift and reach. Imagine someone pushing down against you. Good. And then release and relax. Let your knees just fall to your chest. Maybe circle your knees as you breathe in through your nose. And then a clearing exhale, let it go. Bring your knees to 90 degrees, stacked right over your hip points, navel to spine. When you have that true 90-degree bend, you should feel your belly already begin to light up. And then reach your hands to the ceiling. Take right hand behind your head. And lengthen your, right leg to the sky. And then once you have your navel pulled and your core is ready to go, start to inhale your right leg to a hover. Send your left hand up and overhead really slow. On your exhale, take your time, lift your right leg, lift your head and shoulders. Heart leads the way as your left fingertips stretch up and across, bend that pause. And then inhale to lower and open. Pull your navel down as you lower. Keep your navel pulled down as you slowly lift and reach. Okay, last 3. Moving at the pace of your slowest breath. And here for 2 more breaths. Right elbow wide. Left knee stays right over your left hip point. Last round here. And no momentum, maybe add resistance as you lift and reach. And then release and relax. Take a breath in. And then clear that breath away. We're going to go right away into our upright tabletop pose, all 4s. As you find your way here, go ahead and stack your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Squeeze your finger pads and inhale to your cow shape. Elevate your heart, lift your tail. And on your exhale, curl to your cat pose just one time around the back of your heart. Head pulls heavy, tailbone tucks to the earth. And then breathe into your cow shape. And on your out breath, walk your hands forward and dive your heart down to the earth. Hips high, head and chest low. Give yourself 1 cycle of breath. And then you'll start to push the earth away. Strong with your center, walk your hands back in and go ahead and just make your way to downward facing dog. Start to tuck your toes and lift your hips. And take a breath or 2 here just to kind of pedal with your feet. Check back in with your hamstrings. Relax the weight of your skull between your biceps. And then that strong push away of the earth. Maybe some softness in your knees so you can really emphasize that length for your spine. And then start to wander to the top of your yoga mat to your forward fold. As you bend your knees, relax the weight of your head to the earth. Feel an energetic lift of your tailbone to the sky. And we're headed to our halfway lift, so when you're ready, breathe in, lengthen out. And exhale, forward fold, release. Then rise all the way to stand. Take a full breath in as you circle seat to the sky. Then exhale your hands to your heart. Okay, breathe in deeply. And clearing, exhale to release. And inhale, reach to the ceiling. On your exhale, soften your knees as you fold to the earth. Take a halfway lift with your breath in. And find your high plank pose on your exhalation out. I'm going to take an inhale here. And that root to rise to the station as you push the earth away on your exhale. Okay, shoulders out of your ears, shift forward on your breath. And lower to the earth, elbows pull straight back. Feel your triceps as you lower to your belly. And then untuck your toes. And find your low cobra at the bottom. Inhale to lift the back of your heart. And exhale to lower down. And inhale, low or high cobra. Okay, lift the amount that feels healthy for your spine. And then exhale to release. And this time, inhale, cobra, or option to go to upward facing dog. Maybe lengthen your arms, lift your thighs. And when we in downward facing dog, hips to the sky. And when you're down dog, breathe in, lift your heels. On your exhale, bend your knees, step or hop to the top, forward fold. And take a half lift as you inhale, lengthen out. And fold on your exhale, dive back down. And breathe in, rise to stand. And exhale your hands to your heart. Take a strong inhale through your nose. And clear that breath out of your mouth. And inhale, reach to the ceiling. And exhale, surrender to the earth. Bend your half lift with your breath in. And high plank pose on your exhale out. When you're ready, shift forward on your inhale. It knees up or down, lower halfway or all the way as you exhale. Open your heart up, dog, or cobra, huge breath in. Yeah, and downward facing dog, hips go up and back with your breath out. We're gonna take just one more traditional sun A with your inhale, lift your heels. Use your exhale to bend your knees and travel to the top of your yoga mat. Then a half lift when you arrive. Let your inhalation lengthen you out. And exhale, forward fold release. Then breathe in, rise all the way to stand. And last time, bring your hands to your heart and you close your eyes. Take a strong breath through your nose. And clear that whole breath away. And inhale, reach up, maybe look up to the ceiling. On your out breath, soften your knees and slowly fold to the earth. Take a halfway lift when you're ready. Vinyasa or down dog, so step back to take your chaturanga or step back to downward facing dog, you decide. Right. Feeling the space between your shoulders and your ears as you lower. Keeping the space as you open your heart. Then recruiting your core as you pike your hips up and back. And from your downward facing dog, inhale your right leg to the sky. On your exhale, keep your hips square. Just flex your right foot and square your hips a little bit more if your right leg is trying to open up. And you start to shift forward to a one-legged plank as you breathe in. And then take your right knee towards your left tricep, breath out. Reach your right leg through as if you were going to fall in triangle, but keep both hands on the earth. You might need to scoot your right foot a little bit closer to your left hand. Square your heart and your hips down to your yoga mat. Reach your heart forward and your hip creases back. And you feel the length from your crown to your tail. You're squaring against the outside of your right hip. And then open up to your fallen triangle. Spin your left heel to the earth and lift your left hand to the sky. Strong inner left thigh, strong right obliques. Reach your left hand overhead towards the front of your yoga mat, like a big side body stretch. And then three-legged dog. Left hand lands, use your core to lift your right leg to the ceiling. And take a big step forward, right foot to the top of your yoga mat. Maybe give it a little boost, and then let your left knee hover for your cow lunge. And lengthen both of your legs on your exhale, cat lunge. And this time as you bend your knees, drop your left knee to the earth. Use your belly strength to lift your heart in your hands. Front body pulls in, so think about zipping up through your front ribs. And then go ahead and breathe up to the back of your heart space. So think about lifting your back ribs. And twist to the right, so your right hand reaches back and your left hand reaches forward. And from here, go ahead and inhale to exalt, scoop your left into the sky. Right fingertips can float or go to your low back. If you're pretty open, you can reach to your calf. And on your out breath, you're gonna windmill your hands down to the earth. Lift your back knee and lean forward to a gentle standing splits, left leg to the sky. And so today we're really focused on square hips, which might mean your left leg doesn't lift as high. You might have a little bit more softness to your right knee. Try to relax your head and then flex to your left foot. Squeeze an imaginary yoga block between your inner upper thighs. And take a breath in. Head to chair pose. Place your left foot to the earth. Shift your weight to your heels and then drive through your heels, so lift your heart. And open arm twist to the left. Exhale your left hand back in space. Awesome. Inhale through center, both hands reach forward. On your exhale, take it to the right hand scoots back. Hips stay square. Then inhale through center. As you exhale, airplane your arms, option to come to your tippy toes, lift your heels. And when we land our heels, we're gonna rise with our right leg. So heels land, bring your right leg with you to stand. So it's pretty early and we're right away in a standing balance. So take a moment to calibrate here. The energy lift your head and your crown. And we'll fly back into a gentle airplane pose. A little softness in your left knee, perhaps find the length from your crown to your right heel. Breathe underneath your body to find that buoyancy. And then with care, step back into your crescent lunge, right toes to the earth. Inhale, lift your heart and your hands. And your exhale, goddess, your arms open your heart. And your breath in, reach your hands to the sky. And exhale your hands to the earth. And then twist your left hand to the ceiling. And take your left hand to your hips. And then bring your hips to square. So think about your right hip point moving wide and up in space. Left hip settles in. Then keep that squareness to your hips, maybe twist from there. You might not twist as deep, but you might get more of a twist in your thoracic spine. Okay. So go sweep your left arm overhead towards the front of the room. And then down to the earth. Step back into your high plank pose. When you're ready, Vinyasa or down dog. So shift forward to flow. Or maybe skip it all together and just go up and back. And once you find your downward facing dog, put to inhale your left leg to the sky. Use your exhale to flex your foot, pull your navel to your spine. Then breathe in to shift forward one-legged plank. Your exhale, left knee to your right, tricep cross underneath your body. Send your left leg through for falling triangle. Keep your right heel lifted here. And then lengthen out your body. Make a high plank through your whole body except for your left leg that's crossed beneath you. Flex your left foot, pull your sternum forward, and send your tailbone up and back. The shoulders and hip points are square towards the earth for one more moment. We're going to spin our right heel down and open our right hand to the sky, following the triangle. And activate your inner right thigh. Let your right shoulder lean way back. And start to breathe your right fingertips over your head for the side body stretch. Three-legged dog as your right hand finds the earth. Unravel your left leg to the sky. The big step forward takes your left foot to the top of your yoga mat. Maybe give it a boost. And we'll take an inhale to our cow lunge. Sink low through your right knee and pull your heart through your upper arms. And exhale to your cow lunge, lengthen out your legs. When you bend both of your knees this time, right knee to the earth. Active through your center, scissor action through your legs, lifting through your heart and hands. Then think about your front body pulls in and back. Think about lifting through the upper back space of your back body. And so staying out of our low back, creating that decompression between ribcage and pelvis. Twist to the left. Left hand reaches back and right hand extends forward. And follow an inhale to exalt. Feel your core lift your ribcage up. And exhale, windmill your hands down to the earth. Frame your left foot. Lift your back knee, standing splits. Lift your right leg to the sky. Again, you can bend your left knee as much as you need to. Work towards squaring your pelvis. You flex your right foot. Inner right thigh spirals slightly to the sky as you hug to the midline with your inner thighs. Relax the weight of your head. Let your tailbone tip tall to the ceiling. As you take one more breath, prepare. Exhale will bring us to chair pose. Let your hips get low. And for your inhale, lift your heart and hands up high. And exhale, sweep your right hand back first this time. Feel your core. And inhale through your center. And exhale, second side, lower body stays square and steady as we rinse to the left. Then inhale back to your center. And your exhale, airplane your arms will become to your tippy toes. And this time when we land our heels, you'll bring your left leg to stand. Push down with your right foot. Use your center body strength to lift your left leg. And once you have some stability, when you're ready to transition, it's going to be airplane pose or to fly back slow. Give yourself one more breath in. And then soft step back to your crescent lunge, left toes to the earth. Take your inhale or reach to the sky. And goddess your arms, you empty your lungs. And breathe in, reach up. Exhale your hands to the earth. You twist, your right hand will go to the sky. It could be on your left fingertips or your left palm, it's up to you. And take your right hand to your sacrum. Start to find that balance of your hips. So oftentimes our left hip in this case needs to lift up and our right hip needs to settle down. And from that square space, then begin your twist. Like every inhale we create length and every exhale takes us deeper. Now keeping your hips really steady, you reach your right hand up and overhead, that big circle sweep. And right hand to the earth. Find your high plank pose, right foot steps back. Then inhale to shift forward. Vinyasa or down dog. Once you find your downward facing dog, take a big breath in. And a clearing exhale out. We're going to take our next layer and then we'll take a pause. So inhale your right leg to the sky. Use your exhale to flex your foot. So to breathe in, shift forward towards your one-legged plank. On your out breath, right into your left tricep cross underneath. Hold here, take a one-legged plank, inhale, lengthen your right leg back again. Strong right glute, exhale, right knee, left tricep. Reach your right leg through. Find your half fallen triangle, and then open up fallen triangle. Good option to float your right foot off the earth. Feel your inner left thigh and your right obliques create that strength. We'll all meet in the three-legged dog. Left hand lands, use your core to lift your right leg tall. Big step forward, right foot to the top of your yoga mat. You lengthen through your spine, and lift your heart up, high crescent lunge. From your high crescent lunge, go ahead and find your prayer twist. Hook your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Root down to the four corners of your right foot and turn your heart towards your thumbs. Let your right shoulder lean back in space, but keep that active buoyancy through your left leg. Just spread your wings open here. As you hug the midline, as you spread your wings wide, slowly start to rise up to an open arm twisted crescent. Right hand's gonna reach back and your left hand will reach forward. On your inhale, exalt your crescent left into the sky. Super slow, exhale to your standing splits, windmill down. And lift your left leg to the ceiling. And take a big breath in. Hold here or Shiva squat. So maybe bend both knees. Get really low through your booty, lift through your heart. And drive down through your right heel to re-extend, standing split. So your glutes are active. Same thing, bend and tap, and weight goes back in space. Heart lifts up. And then push down to extend. And one more time, bend and tap. And then push through your right foot to re-extend, standing splits. And we'll make our way to chair pose next. Hips low, lift your heart and your hands with your inhale. And open our twist to the left on your exhale. Your sits bone stretch back in space. Then breathe in through your center. And take it to the right. Weight is in your heels. And inhale through your center. Exhale, airplane arms as you shift to your tippy toes. Start to land your left heel. Then rise through your right leg all the way to stand. Take a moment here. Take a breath in. You have the option to lengthen your right leg out in front of you. Let your quadricep take on that effort. We're headed either to an airplane or to a warrior three. So this time you might reach your hands forward, or maybe go back to your airplane pose and send your hands beside you. Take an inhale. And exhale, crescent lunge. Right toes go to the earth. Lift your heart in your hands. Goddess your arms as you breathe out. Good, Sarah. And inhale, reach your hands to the ceiling. Exhale, rise your hands to the earth. Twist your left hand to the sky. You can stay here or turn all 10 toes to the left for a horizon lunge. You may need to scoot your left foot back a little bit. Think about the squaring of your heart and hips now towards the long left edge of your yoga mat. And then inhale, sink your hips down, maybe reach to the back of your yoga mat. On your exhale, rise up and over, Vinyasa or down dog. So step back to flow or to downward facing dog. And as you find your down dog, let's take a deep breath in together. And then open mouth, exhale to go. And inhale your left leg to the sky. Exhale, one-legged plank, shift forward. Pause as you breathe in. Left knee, right tricep, breath out. One-legged plank, take your inhale. To your right tricep as you exhale. Reach your left leg through. Take one moment here to square to the earth, and then open up, falling triangle. An invitation to float to your left leg if that's interesting for you. To the inside of your right leg working hard. And then three-legged dog, we'll send our left leg up and back. Big step forward, left foot to the top of your yoga mat. Long through your spine, start to rise. High crescent lunge, your inhale lifts you tall. Okay, on your exhale, find your prayer twist. Take your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Okay. If you need to move your feet, you can always adjust your feet. Think about the buoyancy of your right hip point. So think about widening your right hip point to the right so it doesn't collapse, and then twisting from there. We're going to spread our wings open next. That leverage of elbow and thigh. Try to light up your left glute and then pull yourself out to your open arm twisted crescent. Left fingertips help lead the way with your core. Good, inhale to exalt, right hand reaches to that deep stretch in the front of your right hip. And then into your standing splits, windmill your hands down. Lift your right toes to the sky. Find your in breath. And exhale, Shiva squat, bend and tap, get low. Press down with your left heel, standing splits, re-extend. Okay, two more slow. Okay, bend and tap. As you push through your left heel, imagine gravity's like extra heavy this morning, re-extend. One more time, we're gonna bend and tap slow, hips low and heart high. And then push down to re-extend. Chair pose brings us to our seat. As you get low through your hips, lift your heart in your hands. Really feel the weight in your heels, your glutes. Twist your upper body to the right. Feel your lower body stay super square. Your core and your seat helping with that. Inhale through your center. Exhale, rinse it to the left. Good, and inhale to your center. Exhale, airplane arms, option for tippy toes. Think seat stays low, but heels lift high. We're gonna land our right heel and bring our left leg with us to stand. Okay, so you have the option to stay here. You also have the option to extend your left leg forward. Let your quadricep be the main power for that extension. Airplane or warrior 3, fly back. A soft step to your crescent lunge. Your inhalation lift you tall. And go ahead and goddess your arms on your out breath. Breathe and reach to the sky. On your out breath, hands to the earth. Twist your right hand to the ceiling. Stay here or find your horizon lunge, left palm to the earth. Maybe turn all 10 toes to the right. Pull your right thigh bone back into your pelvis. And wrap your left lung forward. And you can stay right here or inhale, sink low as you reach to the back of your yoga mat. Exhale, unwind Vinyasa or down dog. Step back to your Chaturanga or skip it all together. Then go ahead and make your way to a child's pose when you are ready. Knees down, hips to your heels. Take a couple cycles of breath. Okay. So the shape that we're moving to today is going to be a revolved half moon. So I want to show you where we're going and kind of talk about some of the pieces of our flow that have prepared us for that. Revolved half moon, which if you're like, I don't even know what that is something of this nature. Yeah, it's kind of like a twisted airplane. The thing that's confusing sometimes about a revolved half moon is the name, because the half moon that I think we know or a little bit more familiar with is open hip, open heart, not twisted at all. So revolved half moon is the hips are square and we have the upper body turning in a different direction. Our prayer twisted lunge that we've taken a couple times is this really interesting thing to look at in relationship to our revolved half moon. So I want to show you what happens oftentimes in the hips. So from straight on, when we're moving towards our prayer twist, oftentimes what happens is this hip point collapses in, and then this sitting bone flares up and out, okay? So it's kind of hard to see from here, but my right hip jumps down, my left sitting bone flares up and out. That's a little bit exaggerated, but I see that a lot. This is then taking the femur bone at an angle. So we still have our knee probably stacked over our ankle. Sometimes it dips a little bit further to the midline, which we don't love. But this is a good way for the body to avoid having to engage as much, and the seat can turn off a little bit more. So when we're in our prayer twist, what we're working for ideally is the hug of this sitting bone in, and this hip point, instead of dropping in and down, we're trying to pull it wide and up. Yeah? And once we keep that, then we twist. And when we twist from there, from a stable, really sound foundation through our pelvis, we get more of a true twist. It's in our mid to upper back versus we're just twisting through our hips and our spine isn't actually rotating very much. So when we go into our revolved half moon, we're going to try to keep the hip points really balanced. So this morning, what we're going to do is we'll take a revolved half moon from here. Right, we've gone to our airplane from here, we've gone to our warrior 3 from here. This time we're going to go to revolved half moon. My left leg is lifted right now. My left hand is in the sky. I'm going to take my right hand to my right hip and also take it to your sacrum as we go. We're going to start to tip forward. little softness in your standing leg. Thinking like a single leg deadlift if you're someone who works out a lot here. And then my right hand's gonna be a guide, okay, how balanced are my hips? I can also use my left hand to make sure that my left hip isn't dumping down, but I'm staying really elevated and buoyant here. Now maybe this is where I stay, just working on the squareness of my hips. If I want to, I can start to twist my upper body. Keeping my hands at my hips, that's an option. It's a little bit tricky for balance. You can also take your left hand to the earth, your right hand to the sky, or left hand all the way towards the ground, then push down into your standing leg and twist from there. And you can always check back in, what are my hips doing, right? So what happens when we keep a more true alignment in our pelvis, that stability, our range of motion usually decreases. But we're then true in our hips. So we're gonna move towards that. I think that's all I have for you right now. If you're like, I don't really want to do the full revolved half moon, you can also stay in airplane, or you can go back to warrior 3. They're all very closely related, yeah? Or just working on the squaring of your hips in your airplane is, I think, where a lot of us are at. So let's start in downward facing dog. We're gonna take a short little exploration and then we'll be on the back body pretty soon. So make your way to down dog, maybe grab a sip of water as you go. Move your hips high and your chest low. The length from your crown to your tail to your heels. Feel your breath in your body. And thinking about the rinse and the release, the letting go, the spring cleaning, the internal spring cleaning. On your inhale, send your right leg to the sky. On your exhale, bring your knee towards your nose and just take a big step forward to the top, right foot to the top of your yoga mat. As you root through your feet, go ahead and lift your heart in your hands, high crescent lunge. With your exhale, airplane your arms, hinge your heart forward, sweep your fingertips back. Take a moment just to activate through the right side. Feel the power through your right leg, your right glute. Plug your right thigh bone into your pelvis. And then start to lean forward, stepping to chair pose, slide or step your left foot to the top. Hips go low with your heart in your hands. Lean back into your right foot and bring your left leg with you to stand. So same foundational leg, right foot on the earth, left leg high. Then go ahead and take your right hand to your hip, your left hand to the sky. Slowly start to tip forward to that single leg deadlift sensation. And pause here. So you can decide where you want to go from here. Do you want to begin to twist your right hand to the sky? Do you want to take your left hand to the earth? Do you want to work on the squaring of your hips? This is where a block would be helpful underneath your left hand. So you can push down through your standing leg and you can keep your heart in line with your lifted leg. Really good. When you're ready to release out, you're going to use your core to slowly step you back to your crescent lunge, really light. And live on you, and then inhale, reach your hands to the ceiling. On your exhale, find your goddess arms open to your heart. Good. And then just swan dive forward, hands to the earth. Go ahead and step back into a high plank pose. Either take a chaturanga or just lift your hips to downward facing dog. Awesome, we're gonna move on to the second side. So as you're ready, start to breathe your left leg to the ceiling. Three-legged dog. Good. On your exhale, bring your knee towards your nose and take a step forward to the top of your yoga mat. Okay, find a long spine, right, from crown to tail that's gonna support you. Push through your left foot and then rise up to your crescent lunge. Just pay attention to what your hips are doing through every transition. As you hinge forward to your airplane arms, again, notice what your pelvis is doing. And you keep the widening of your hip points. Right? Knees in line with our ankles. Hips hug to the center line. Chair pose, slide or step your right foot to the top. Doesn't need to be your deepest chair pose, since we're going to rise all the way up with our right leg. Now with your right leg lifted, take your left hand to your hip. Engage the ear center and then slowly switch your hip forward to your single leg deadlift. And keeping that buoyancy underneath your right hip point, you can stay here, or you can start to find any amount of twist. Recruit your core, flex your back foot, your lifted leg. Yeah. You can always use your hand, your top hand on your sacrum to feel the stability of your pelvis. And then in a breath or so, when you're ready to release, you're going to release to your crescent lunge. Just take a slow step back. Controlled landing, reach up high as you inhale. Goddess your arms on your exhale. Swan dive your heart to the earth, hands to your yoga mat. Step back to your high plank and choose chaturanga or downward facing dog. As you find down dog, you're gonna let your knees go to the earth wide for child's pose. Sink your hips to your heels and dive your chest towards the ground. We're going to take a thread the needle variation here. So left hand will stay forward. Thread your right arm underneath your body. Turn your palm face up to the sky. Instead of twisting open to the left, just square yourself down to the earth. So turn your forehead to your yoga mat. Let your left shoulder get heavy towards the ground. And switch out your arms, reach your right hand forward, slide your left arm underneath, left palm faces up. And again, squaring off towards the earth, instead of twisting open, bring forehead and right shoulder to the ground. Let your sits bones reach back in space and breathe. Now extend your left hand forward when you feel balanced. And slowly just start to have your heels, roll up your spine to a seat, head is last to lift. And once you find your seat, tip to your left or to your right, spin your legs out in front of you. Squish the top of your yoga mat. Maybe grab a sip of water along the way. And send your legs out long in front of you. Check to make sure you have enough room behind you to lean back into. A little softness in your knees, untuck your booty. And then go ahead and reach your hands to the sky with an inhale. And hinge forward, Paschimottanasana, forward fold on your exhale. So you might take an extra breath and inhale, lengthen out. And exhale, we dive a little bit deeper. And take 2 more cycles of breath. When you're ready to release, you're going to start to rise up tall with your spine. Scoot your booty a little bit further forward or just bend your knees so they're like a 3/4 bend, feet flexed. Engage your belly as you reach high to the sky and drive your heels into the earth. Once you have your heel anchors, slowly start to descend back. Use your core to keep your heels rooted into the earth. If they need to come a little bit closer towards you, you can bring them closer to your seat as you go. Front ribs pulled in, your belly strength controls that release until you find a full body stretch. Reaching your fingers to your toes on your inhale. Then bring your knees into your body with your exhale. And start with your hands on your shins. Let your knees just fall wide to a modified happy baby. Heavy through your head and shoulders and hips. You can stay here or go ahead and reach up to your ankles or your feet. Maybe a little rock from side to side. Maybe you extend one or both legs, seeing what feels good for you. And then option for a final inversion or to stay as you are. So if you'd like to, you can send your legs up to the sky. You could take a bridge pose. You could take shoulder stand or plow. Okay, but you'll decide on your final inversion. You'll take 3 to 5 breaths there. And then we're all going to meet eventually in final relaxation Shavasana. So if maybe you would prefer to bring the soles of your feet together and just let your knees fall wide instead, you can go ahead and go into your butterfly shape instead. Or you also have the option to go to Shavasana right away if you're just ready to settle into your final relaxation. And then allowing your breath and your body to be your guides in these final few moments before you settle in or as you settle in. Give yourself a little bit of space, a little bit of room just to check back into not only your physical body and how your physical body is feeling after moving across your yoga mat. Checking in with your heart space, see what's present there. Your mind space, to see if anything's come up. It's oftentimes when we consciously clear away and set some things aside, it makes space for things that have been lingering in the background to bubble up to the surface. Things that have been waiting to be tended to. Take this opportunity to step forward and ask for our attention, for our breath, for our compassion. When you do start to find your way into Shavasana, just make sure that your shape is really comfortable. So as you process not only this flow in these 55 minutes, but you process where you're at in this moment within your life, you do so without distraction. Your body and the earth start to kind of melt together. And then your awareness begins to flow with your breath. And you get to assume that seat of the mindful observer, right? The witness to yourself. So we take these last few minutes just to be. Allow your breath to deepen again. Allow your exhales to lengthen back out. And as you deepen your breath, feel the weight of your pelvis resting on the earth. The stability of your hips held by the ground. And let your awareness move down your legs, right down your roots, all the way to your toes. Bend your knees and place your feet on the earth as if you are headed to bridge pose, and just feel the four corners of your feet on the earth. Maybe turn your palms face down to the ground. And feel the earth beneath you. Maybe keeping one hand palm face down on the earth, bring one hand to your heart. You take this final moment together just to pause and to recognize the time and the intention that you devoted to your practice, to the internal spring cleaning that yoga allows. We also pause to acknowledge the energy that we shared. We pause to honor the ancient roots of the practice itself. So sealing our practice, we'll take one more deep breath in through the nose together. And one more clearing exhale, we release. May yoga offer us a path to compassion. And may our practices serve as our teachers, leading us to live more authentically, love more deeply, and see more clearly each and every day. Okay, thank you so much for moving me this morning. Thanks for showing up every week. Okay, and have a really good rest of your week. Namaste.